Okay, so welcome everyone to another Magento Meetup Nagpur. Hope everybody got the invitations and the links correctly, and let's get started. So today we have two main topics that we are going to discuss. One is PWA Studio and the other one is MSI, or the multi-source inventory project of Magento. So before that, just to give all of you a link for the meetup. So in case you have not joined the meetup group, please use the following URL to join the group. You'll get new updates of all the new events that we are organizing every month. Also, we have a Telegram group in which we share a lot of new links and tips and tricks and tutorials which we got aggregated across the web. And please consider joining if you are interested in that. And finally, we also have a YouTube channel in which we will be uploading the recording of these events and all the other events that we are organizing throughout the year. So before we start, let me just thank our sponsors. Our first sponsor is TechDivision. So we got an overwhelming response this time. Some of you know we have around 150 RSVPs, which were not normally the case that we used to get in our previous events. It was around 100 only. So, but the normal digital platform that we use, that is Google Meet, only has a limit of 100 attendees at a time. So we were thinking about closing the RSVP at 100, but Lars and TechDivision actually helped us out, providing us their corporate Zoom account. So thank you so much for that. Without this, I think half of the attendees won't have been able to join the meeting live. The second sponsor we have is JetBrains. So we'll have two licenses that we would be giving away this time. So the licenses is for all their products. So basically, if you are using PHP Storm or WebStorm or anything similar to their products, you will actually get a chance to win a license for a year. And the information to participate in the giveaway or the lottery would be posted on the chat shortly. So Milind, if you can post the link, that would be really helpful. Next, we also have a sponsor from SwiftOtter. So I think last night I had a talk with Joseph Maxwell, and he was happy to provide discount coupons for his products. So we have a 25% discount coupon for all of his products and 55% discount coupons for any of the products that are more than $100. Of course, the coupon expires by 19 September. So anybody who might be thinking of appearing for the certification exam, this SwiftOtter guides are really helpful. And if you're considering buying it, do consider using the coupon as well. And finally, we have M Academy, which is another great place to learn about Magento 2. And we will be giving away a full scholarship for a year for the membership of this great portal. So again, the information to participate here would be posted on the link by Milind. So people behind the scenes without which the event wouldn't have been successful. One is Aryan, who is our graphics designer. So all the banners that you have seen over the social media which I have been posting to promote the event is actually designed by Aryan. And also I have Milind with me, who is my co-organizer and the organizer of Meetup Lucknow as well. He has been helping me behind the scenes to arrange all the logistics around. So now let's talk about the speakers. So first we have Lars with us, who I don't think, like most of you already know him, but for those who don't know him, well, he is a Magento fanboy. He has an experience over 9+ years. He is also one of the maintainers of the PWA Studio project. Before that, he was an early contributor to the MSI project that is now known as the inventory project. So he posts regularly on his blog. So the link to his blog is also being provided. He has also started uploading videos on YouTube, mostly tutorial videos on PWA Studio. So do consider subscribing to his channel to stay updated. Also, he's planning to do live quick streaming while he will be making contribution to the PWA Studio project. So do follow him on Twitch and get a chance to interact with him live when he's doing such contributions. And finally, congratulations, he just actually got promoted in his job and got promoted as a senior software developer. So congratulations on that, Lars. So Lars, I'll stop talking now and I'll stop sharing my screen and will make you the host so that you can start presenting.
Thank you.
Okay. I think you can share your screen now, right?
Yeah, I can share.
Okay,
so,
fantastic.
Let's start. So, good morning, good evening, and yeah. So today I want to speak about PWA Studio development. Yeah, I think the intro I can skip. Thank you so much for the nice intro. And maybe one thing about TechDivision, we are based in the south of Germany, really close to the Alps and wonderful nature. And we doing mostly big e-commerce projects based on Magento, or our main area is doing Magento projects. And yeah, so before we want to start, I think we make a short alignment because PWA is a really new technology and it's maybe, yeah. So what is PWA? PWA is a tool set or a name and with PWA, we try to close the gap between a traditional website and a mobile application. And a PWA combines benefits from a mobile native application and a web page. So what we can do with a PWA, we can have it installed on our mobile phone. With this, we have the possibility to use push notifications like, hey, now your order is shipped. We can use geolocalization like you're close to our shop, or you're sitting in Rosenheim and there we have one shop. Do you want to register your shirt there and pick up it there? You can pick up today there. This we can do. We have a camera support. This is really nice. If you're scanning a label or something like that, you can search for a picture in a shop or something like that. This is possible. Microphone support, like, hey, it's possible to implement some voice search in your PWA application. Yeah, we have a mobile first approach. This means our application is designed for mobile devices. If your target group is really focused on mobile devices, PWA will help you a lot. We have offline support. Offline support in this case means we have a possibility to having shortly no internet connections. It's built for like an elevator, 2 or 3 minutes. Data is already preloaded on your mobile device and you can go in the catalog and click on products and open them. This is really cool for customer and experience. Sensor detections, yeah. I don't have a real use case in e-commerce there, but yeah, this is all. So how Magento design PWA Studio? PWA Studio is their own application. We have here our online shop. We have here a service worker, a web manifest, HTTP, and our application cache. Our shopper visits the front end. And we have here a middleware. Which middleware doesn't matter currently, I will describe later. And we have here our GraphQL API and our Magento backend. This is how PWA Studio is designed. It's your own application you need to deploy somewhere, or you can deploy somewhere standalone. So let's speak about PWA Studio components and responsibilities. We have Page Builder. The Page Builder is Magento first PWA Studio extensions. They use their targets to hook the Page Builder in the application. You can, it's really standalone. It's their own folder, and they only need targets to the new extensibility framework. What is the extensibility framework? I will describe later. Then we have Perogreen. This is our hook library. There you find every hook or custom hooks, and there is where the business logic happens. We have PWA build pack. This thing allows us to start a node server for production, as well a development watch. We see this later in the demo. We have Upward.js. Upward.js is our definition for our middleware. It allows us to having something between PWA Studio and our Magento. It handles requests, and also we have implementation of Upward in PHP. This is currently required for Magento Cloud. You install Upward PHP on your cloud instance, but the cloud team is working on in the pro version on it's possible to start a node server soon. I don't know when it will happen, but I heard maybe end of this year it's possible to book a node server in a pro instance, and then you can deploy your PWA on Node. This is really cool using Node. If you can use Node, use Node, because PHP handling is okay, but from my point of view, Node is the way to go with PWA. So as I already mentioned, we have here our progressive web app, our Upward, and our Magento server. So next components, Venia concept. Yeah, this was the old approach from Venia. There are some responsibility left there, but I don't know what is the plan about this package currently. Venia style guide, there you can find our stylings or our component stylings. And Venia UI, this is this thing holds all UI components. So which technologies we using? We have, first of all, GraphQL for communicating with Magento. We have React. We have Webpack. Somebody is talking in the background.
Yeah. Hi guys, please consider muting your connection, please. I see a lot of you have not muted your mic.
Yeah, and we have Apollo. Apollo is our client implementation of GraphQL. This allows us to connect with our GraphQL API. And this thing has a really nice caching solution in it. Apollo is widely used in the React community and very well tested. If you communicating with GraphQL, definitely you need to use Apollo. So let's speak about extensibility. Extensibility is built in Magento PWA Studio Science version 6. And the approach how we did it is we using some phrase, it's targets. Targets allows us to adding additional logic to PWA Studio. So first, targets are based in Venia UI. We can define our own rich content renderer. A rich content renderer is something what is parsed by our React application. If you hit the site, a rich content renderer will used to render the content what we can get from Magento. And if you're building your own extension, like your own CMS extension or your own thing what needs to render differently, you can define a rich content renderer. How it works, you can see in the page builder component, because page builder is using this rich content renderer API to adding own rich content renderer to render page builder content in the Magento frontend. So next thing, we can add routes. This means in Magento PWA Studio, we have the possibility to adding own React routes. And with this, we can build our own static sites or own CMS sites or own contact forms or something like that. So here you can find the references of which targets we have. Take a look on the docs. Our docs team working currently on tutorials. Also, you find some tutorials on my blog. And as Atish already mentioned, I try to cover many content as well on my YouTube or stream channel, because this is a really new feature. And one point about extensibility. Yeah, currently it's allowed to build your own extension. But currently we don't have so much extension points there. But we have a possibility to adding own extension points. How this works, I will show you in the next slides. So we have also the possibility to adding own hooks, own wrapper for hooks. This means we can add own wrapper around use app. Use app wrap with my extension locker wrapper. This means every time if somebody in my application or in PWA Studio application call use app, an interceptor pattern will happens, and it will. It's mostly like the around plugin in Magento 2. We have the possibility to around our existing thing with their own functionality. This is a really good pattern, but from my point of view, around plugins, if you're having multiple arounds on one business logic, it can be hard to find where the request is changed. You need to define how many arounds, or if you want to only have one around, and how you can change data. And yeah. So next thing, we have build targets. Build targets allow us to hook in the build process of PWA Studio. And this is a really strong method because we can having own bubble plugins. And with bubble, we have the possibility to define own bubble plugins and backpack plugins. And this allows us like having some JSX around plugin, some code injection plugin. And this is really deep, but also really complex to understand. And our goal in the core team, what I discussed with Sarton, James Sarton, is trying to provide more extension points over Bubble or over Webpack, and having something like a JSX transform around every component. but currently this thing is working in progress and extensibility is working in progress. Maybe end of this year we have more extension points, but yeah, currently with the current state, it's not so easy to develop extensions. But with a scaffolded project, you have already a possibility to build your own theme and having your own mobile repo structure. Yeah. So, and also we have a target. This allows us to adding special flags to our own extensions. So, yeah, we want to have some live coding. I will develop some shorter extensions or a short extension. So first of all, we need an empty project. For this, we run yarn create add Magento /PWA. This thing runs the yarn create command from the repository, and now we need to give a name like test, or we want a package JSON, me as author. I want to have a demo instance there, Braintree demo token. We want to use Yarn there because then we can use Yarn workspaces later. And Yarn workspaces are a really good method to structure your own projects. If you start a project like your own theme or own component, start with Yarn workspaces and combine them in a monorepo structure like PWA Studio it does. So we want to install our all dependencies. So now we can go in our PHP storm. So now we have here our empty project. So what we need there? We need first of all a place where our extension can be placed. So let's create a folder. Hello world. Let's go in the folder. The session is wrong. So let's go in the folder. Test source hello world and do a yarn in it there. So he asked us now about the name. I want to use my folder name. This helps us later with yarn link, version 1, description. What is our entry point? Our entry point is source / intercept.js. JS. Repo where we don't have mid license, yes. It should be private. So this creates us a package JSON. So first of all, we need to create this file. The intercept file is our main file. And if you're forgetting to define the main file, it leads to strange errors, and you're searching a while to find why your extension don't work. So this file can be empty first. Next, we need peer dependencies. Peer dependencies allows us to say our package need following extensions installed, and without this extension, it don't works. So what we need Magento / PWA build pack in version 6. We need Magento / Linear UI and star. We need React in version 16.9.0. And we need React router and version. Okay. So now let's register our PWA Studio extension. This we can do with PWA Studio targets intercept.js. This is our intercept file. Okay. So this is our main file and also our main extension point. So what we need next? We need a module export there. Let's write it. We need module.exports equals targets arrow function. So now we can use our targets of. I will copy it because it's if you do a typo there, it will search a while. So we have flex there. These things register our module as ES module and CSS module. CSS we need later. First we start with the empty projection. So now our extension has an extension point. Okay, what we need next? We need a new directory, a root component. Our root components in Magento are the main entry points of a route. So let's create a new file, hello-world.js. In my example, I want to add a simple route. So let's import React and say const hello world equal arrow function returns a div and h1 hello world. So now we need an export default from hello world. So now we can add our route there. For this, we having the possibility to use Venia UI targets. So, and now we can say routes.push. This exact object, first parameter is name. We use hello world. Second parameter is pattern, where our route will listen to which URL. We say hello slash question double point operator name question mark. This is optional parameter in React Route. You will find this thing in the React Router docs, how you can define optional and required parameters. And React Router is a really cool thing. So, and next we need our component. For that, I copy the absolute path and say path, double point, and this. So now we use the path of at Lars Röttig hello world, so hello world.js, because our extension will be later installed on the Lars Röttig at hello world in the yarn package. So Okay, we have now our module exports. We have a package JSON. So let's define our module in the main. This thing can be later replaced by a yarn install or something like that if you published your extension, and you can install it as dependency. For development, there's a good, also a good solution because you can use a link annotation, and this links us the package to our folder. For that, we need to use link double point and our root copy absolute path to this. So now we need to go in our scaffolded project folder back. So first of all, I want to have a valid SSL certificate. For that, I go in my folder and run yarn create. Now I have a SSL certificate. Now I can use yarn install. And I also need service Röttig, there I want to need a yarn install. So ls, okay, there I'm correct. Yarn watch. So, and if I made everything correct, I have now a possibility to enter my hello controller. Let's see if it works. It's my first live coding. And this takes a while because it's loading everything behind and combining this. So, oh, cool. We have a hello world page. So, next thing, we need next thing we want to have our optional parameter parsed by our application. For that, we need import use use params from. Can you mute yourself? I cannot do this currently because I'm in the presentation mode, and this is really hard for me. Please mute yourself. I can hear some background noise, and it's really hard for me. Thank you. Can you still see me, or?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Because now, so, okay. Next thing, what we need is a const, and we need to export our name from use params. Use params is a hook from a React router, and it passes every parameter to this. And if we define double point name, this is a parameter, and every double point thing is parsed to this and can be extracted by object annotation. So next, we want to have our message defined by our structure. So let's add a message there and say if is our name defined, then I want to have h1 hello name. This allows us in React to parse parameters in templates or in JSX. And if not, we want to have our hello world. So now we can removing this or switching this. So okay. Oh. Okay, let's restart the build process. Sometimes you need to restart the build process because optional parameters are a special thing, but I don't know where I have my error currently because the optional parameter is not reading. But let's do some debugging. Flood. Oh. Okay, now it works. And this is what I mean with if you don't see your changes, sometimes the build process died behind because currently we have some memory leak, but best way is to restart your watch process. So next thing, what we need next, we want to have some styling there. So how we can do this? I go now to Linear UI and take a look on existing component, how styling works there. So let's go in Linear UI components and use the product sort JS because this is a small component. So what we see there, we see we have merged classes from classify, and we have here our default import. We need both. So for that reason, this file we can close, this file can we close. Let's do some split. This was wrong. This was better. So first, we need some CSS. Let's define it. Hello minus world dot CSS. And now we define there a root and say text origin center and color. I don't know. Blue violet. It will be ugly, but I'm not a designer. So padding, we want to have 10 in our case. So now we can import our hello world CSS from default classes. So next we need merge classes. And there is one really good rule. If you have local imports, make an empty line between library and local imports from your package. It really helps to see where your package comes from. And yeah, so there we need to make it very easy, you can go to classify, copy the absolute path of it, and removing all before Magento linear classify. So now we need const classes, merge classes from default classes. This allows us to injecting our own styles, define class names dot root. Yeah. And now we have a hot reloaded page with our style thing. So what we can do next, I think from my point of view, what we did, we create our own extension, we adding optional parameters and having some conditional rendering. This is all from my side today. If you have any questions, I would like to open now the questions area and maybe speak about a little bit about some topics. Thank you for listening me.
Yeah, Lars, I think we have some questions in the chat.
In the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't read this. How I can come there? I don't see the chat fenster. I see a small little window, but I don't see the chat.
Oh, okay. So let me read it out for you and maybe you can answer.
Yeah, sure. Ah, no,
Okay.
it works. Now I stopped sharing.
Okay. Can you see the chat window now?
Yeah, I see the chat. Oh, good question. Let's take a look on the dev docs. But there is already a pull request for targets to wrap with, and I don't know when it will be finished, but I think it should be all hooks now hookable. Maybe not in the latest release. This is a point where I also need to check because this target API is really new. So start sharing again. We are now in the DevDocs. If you go to the DevDocs site, we have here our documentation. And this is our Pilgrim hook. And list of wrappable tailings. We have possibility to use app. I think all of them should be wrappable, but I don't try it currently. To answer your question, I think you need to try it out. If it don't work, please open my issue. And let's see if we can this thing done quickly.
I think we have another question in the chats. It's from Max. It says that, is there a way to transfer original Magento to front end to PWA in a quick way?
Yeah, a really hard question to answer. What do you mean by traditional front end? Do you mean you have already written extensions, or do you have already written customizations? Then the answer will be like, no, there's no migration path currently. And also, I think we don't want to have a migration path because PWA Studio works completely different. We don't want to have a fallback structure for components, because fallback structure is really hard to debug and really hard to understand. And also we have or don't have currently some layout XML approach, but maybe we will have a similar approach in the future. But still, then we have complete different technologies, because we have here React and JavaScript applications, and the old front end is a PHP application. And main answer, I think you need to rewrite all things by your own.
Okay. Another question that was sent was, is there a quick doc or a tutorial where I can find a way to implement a new theme in PWA Studio? So I think this is the same how we create child themes in Magento. Is there a same way to implement the themes in PWA Studio?
I think from my point of view, it makes sense to start with a scaffolded project. To do this, you can do here like own directory, and I recommend to use what is the name? I have it on my blog. I know I have it on my blog, but I forget every time the name. No, this was not. This is the correct link. Over Vinia UI override resolver from Fuman. This small extensions allow us or allows you to overriding already existing things in Vinia UI. A main problem of this is you can have multiple overrides. A multiple override means if you install an extension and you have your theme customization already in place, you will have definitely a conflict. There's currently no a good way to having some merging of JSX. And if you're searching for JSX, and this is why we try to have some wrap with JSX in the future. But yeah, currently, as I already mentioned, this is a really hard topic, and I think we need some time to get this thing done. But first, you can start with a scaffolded project and using Vinia UI overrider rights resolver and getting already a possibility to start with your own theme. Also, you can use the hooks from Pellegrin and starting completely developing your own theme based on the hooks library. This is also a second possibility. What do you have? Hopefully this answers your question.
Yeah, I think that answers the question. Another one that I have is about upward.js. Is the used only for server-side rendering, or it does serve any other purpose in the project?
Oh, let's take a look on the documentation side. I think we don't have really a server-side rendering. We have currently some rendering on the client side. This is why we have currently a bad page speed if you start with a new Vinia project. But I know there is already some tickets in the background to improving this. So we have Upward provides similar communication. I think the best case is to reading the docs. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. And another question is quite similar to this, like how good is PWA Studio for SEO optimization? Does it have support for SEO plus Google Tag Manager?
SEO plus? What do you mean by SEO plus?
For SEO optimization. So basically, if like a crawler comes in and Google Tag Manager, like the one that we have in normal Magento themes, where we can push events of e-commerce events to Google Tag Manager.
There's a frequently answered or frequently questions on the FAQ page, and the answer is no. We have currently the possibility to use a server-side rendering like SEO snap or pre-rendered IO. This is the way to get a SEO optimized SEO optimized site. If you don't install one of this tool, you don't have a nice score.
Okay.
But hopefully end of this year or end of, I don't know, let's go on the repository because we have there a release line. Magento / PWA Studio. And there should be a README and there should be a wiki. And roadmap. Yeah, this is the roadmap. And in the roadmap, you find which topic is planned for which for which year. And here we have SEO optimization and server-side rendering. It's planned for the end of this year.
Okay, that's nice. And I think I have one final question that is related to deployment. So is there a clear like document in which it is given the roadmap or like the pipeline to how to deploy a proper PWA Studio project onto production?
I think for deployment, we have currently only the Cloud docs are really good. And also we have here some short sections how you can build and start your own server. I planned to have a production guideline like or how you can build a production pipeline on a node server maybe in 2 or 3 weeks online, but currently I'm fighting with some problems in my Docker containers or in my Linux containers. And currently for Node.js, there's no a good documentation. For cloud, we have a really good documentation, how you can install it, etc., how you can get sample data. But I totally understand if you don't have a cloud instance, you need also a way how you can install it. Maybe it's also good to have a tutorial there.
Okay, okay, great. And I think we have another question is that where can we start with PWA Studio? I think that was explained. Customization also good. Okay, how good is it in multilingual support?
Multilingual E18.9 support is currently on our roadmap, and we have already 1 or 2 pull requests. If you go there and search for maybe it's already merged. Yeah, it's already merged. You see in the closed, there was provide ability to translate header and footer, and this is epic. Hopefully, it is finished next month, end of next month, because it's a really large feature. And also, there is a pull request. If you go there from Chris. Or maybe it's better to go to the issue. Linear localization. Yeah, from Chris Barbrander. He was working on a pull request on a hackathon, and there's already this solution from him. What he creates in a hackathon is now migrating to Magento Core, but I think the pull request still exists. Oh yeah, it still exists. And this is this one. and you see it's a really large one. And the core team use a different approach for a translation library. This is one really thing where you need to take a look. I think he used 18 next, and the core team use a different solution for translating localization.
Okay. And finally, I have another question from Max is that is there a roadmap of introducing Redux in the PWA Studio?
Main approach from the core team is we don't want to have less dependencies as we can get. And from my point of view, if you know about where which state happens, and do you know where state exists in your React application, you don't need Redux. Redux makes things sometimes easier, but mostly if you don't use it correct, or if you don't use it for it was built for, it adds only an additional layer. Most things in React you can solve already with the internal tools. There is a really good discussion we had, I think yesterday or 2 days ago on Twitter. If you want, I can share you the blog link later. I need to search it. When you need to use Redux and when it makes sense to use own hooks and having a global state injected over parent components, because then you can also handle re-rendering, etc. And global state management, from my point of view, is really hard to test. If you have something what can change by multiple components and you need to test it, it's really hard.
Okay. I think we answered all the questions that were asked. So Lars, can you make me the host again? So I have a couple of things I would like to share before we
Yes.
move
on. Sure. Now I need to search the right one. So hopefully you
yeah,
got a
I
host.
can see the pop-up that I was made host. Just one sec. Where is Zoom? Okay, Zoom is here. I need to share. This is there. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Okay, great. So moving on. The presentation or the walkthrough that was given to us today from Lars is very short because we had a very short span of time to give you the demo, but he also has uploaded a YouTube video on his channel which actually walks you through the entire live coding session, but in a much more detail. So if you are interested, please do visit this link and you will be able to view the entire video of the walkthrough. Also, I would like to announce a Reacticon conference. So this is another conference which is happening from a month from now. So it's happening in October. This is Reacticon version 3 and it is happening online and it's completely free. So please consider joining this if you want to learn more about PWA and front-end technologies related to Magento and alternatives. So they have a big I think, a roster of speakers who will be talking about PWA Studio, View Storefront, and other alternatives, as well as, I think, a really topic that I'm waiting for is the advanced JS bundling and how to get a good score on the Google, I think, Lighthouse tool. So please do consider going to this, joining the conference on Slack. So this is the link below provided. So it's reacticon.org. So I think it is organized by Jesse every year. And this year it was converted to online because of the COVID situation. Also, they have a channel on Vimeo where they have talks that have happened in their previous events as well. So please do consider joining this conference as well if you are interested in learning more about PWA. And I think also Lars would also be one of the speakers there. So that's good. So time for a 5-minute break. So I would suggest everybody take a 5-minute break, get your refreshments, and then we can move on to our next speaker. Okay, I think I can start again. So next up, we have Shilpa with us. She has around 8+ years of experience working with different versions of Magento, say it Magento 1 or Magento 2. She has a lot of experience with headless commerce, mostly with GraphQL and AEM integrations. So Shilpa will be helping us out in understanding the MSI project. So Shilpa, I'd like to hand over the virtual stage to you.
Thank you, Atish.
I'll just make you the host so that you can start presenting.
Hi, all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hope you are all doing great. And yes, today we are going to discuss about MSI. Should I start, Atish?
Yeah, sure, please.
Thank you. Hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Still, right?
Yeah, I think you shared your screen. Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, I can see.
So if I changing this, you can able to see all the screens?
Yeah, I can see. I think you need to share
Just a
just
minute,
one
just a
window.
minute, just a minute. There is an issue. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm not getting option here. Just a minute. Okay, so because of network issue, I have disconnected my video. Okay, let's get started, guys. So today we are going to discuss about the MSI, how MSI works in Magento. So this is our today's agenda. We'll be discussing first what is MSI and its feature. Then we'll walk through about the basic workflow of MSI. Then we'll see how we can configure the MSI in admin. Then we'll see the order workflow with new reservation mechanism and order fulfillment using the source selection criteria, which is introduced newly with MSI. Then we have the console commands, which are provided by MSI module. We'll see what are the REST APIs and GraphQL provided in MSI, import functionality, and lastly, we will see the demo. Okay. Now, what is MSI? As you already aware of, the legacy approach of Magento, which only supports the single source inventory, right? So single source system allows to ship product from only one location. Let me give you one example. If a merchant have one website or a multi-site implementation, for example, US, Brazil, France, and Germany, and all websites are pulling data from one large warehouses. So this single source means which is responsible for all the inventory quantity, shipment, returns, regardless of sales channel or a website which receives the order. So due to this, shipping costs comes as a big problem. Also, it takes a longer time to deliver items to purchaser due to the far distance as well as complications in the transportation process, right? Let's take another example where a merchant has a multiple warehouses. He can sell from different warehouses, but he do not have the like single admin integrate installation where he can put all his source or physical location information, right? So for such a situation, he has to go for third party model integration with Magento. So to meet such all requirements, MSI is introduced in Magento 2.3. So what MSI allows? MSI allows merchant to add their physical store under a single Magento installation without involving a third party. So it's also reduced the time needed for arrange the shipment. These are some basics important term you will be using while working with the MSI. So first we'll see what is sales channel. So sales channel is where merchant can sell their actual product. So sales channel currently limited to website. Then we have a sources. So any location with available stock and capable of order fulfillment can be considered as a sources. So these location include warehouse, brick and mortar store, distribution center, and dropshippers as well. Then comes into stock. So stock is not actual, a virtual product inventory representation for your multiple sources, means each stock has assigned by multiple sources. So aggregation of all the sources inventory can be considered as a stock. We'll see in like future slide in detail. Then comes aggregate sellable quantity. So it is your total virtual inventory that can be sales throughout the sales channel, and the amount is calculated across the source which is assigned to that particular stock. Then reservation. This is actually introduced newly with MSI. This tracks the deduction from the sellable quantity, which is actual sellable quantity in websites, when customer adds a product and completes the checkout. Okay, when an order ship, the reservation clears and deducts the ship amount. It means it didn't deduct the stock or the inventory of the product real time. So we'll see this in later future slides in detail. So these are the basic feature of MSI. Yes, of course, the most powerful feature they have introduced, Magento have introduced in 2.4 recently. This is pick up at stores, where customer can buy online and pick up from that store which he selects during the checkout. Then we have next feature is different configuration provided for single source merchant and multi-source merchant. Single source merchant ships product from one location, and multi-source merchants can have the multiple sources from where he can ship the product. So he needs to add the custom sources. So we'll see how to add the custom sources in next slides. Then we have the stocks, which is actually available for provides the aggregate sellable quantity of the product from all assigned sources. Then it MSI prevent or protect the concurrent checkout. So as MSI uses the reservation mechanism, so it hence MSI reserves the quantity for a particular product for the customer throughout the shipment, so that customer can receive the his order correctly, though the latency between the customer like order placement and order shipment is more. Then we have the feature where merchant can select the source selection for their shipment. So we'll see what is source selection algorithm in later slides. So this is the MSI basic workflow. We'll see. The blue boxes which you are seeing here is nothing but your physical location. Let me show you this. This is physical location of one of the merchant. Suppose he is selling, or the merchant is selling a mobile. So the mobile is present in NYC warehouse as well as FL warehouse and dropshipper. So these are physical location of that mobile. So it is actually called a sources in terms of MSI. Now I have multiple, like that merchant has a multiple website. Now he just want to sell like he has Amazon website and another is Magento default website. So what you want from Amazon website, whenever customer buys the product, he want to ship that product from NYC and FL only, and not from the drop shipper. So what he needs to do, he needs to aggregate those sources in one stock. Okay, So what he can do, he can create one stock from Magento admin. So his total sellable quantity for that product would be the combination of this warehouse plus this warehouse. And for that product, he can add the actual out of stock threshold value. So that my that sellable quantity of that mobile would be 85. Similarly, he can create a different stock using the two different sources like this NYC plus dropshipper has this UK stock. These are also called as aggregate value, or you can say simply stock in terms of MSI. I can assign multiple websites to my stock. Okay, so for UK stock, I have USA website and Amazon website. For US, I have US and Amazon. For UK, I have UK website. So these are all together called as the sales channel in terms of MSI. So this is source in blue color, aggregate or stock in green color, and this is called as a sales channel. As you can see from this image, that one stock can assign to multiple websites, but one website at a time assigned to one stock only. Next, we have the MSI configuration. First, we'll see how to manage a stock through admin. So you have to navigate to stores, inventory, sources. Then once you navigate to this site, you can see the list of sources here. So we already has a default source, Magento, which provides, and this you cannot disable it. If you want to go for multi-source, then you have to create this custom sources. This data actually store in inventory source table, which has a primary key as source code. Okay, so this is the primary key for that particular sources. You can disable or enable the sources. Then next, if you add or edit the sources, you can see here, you can opt this source for pickup location. One more thing, you cannot opt the default source for your in-store pickup delivery. In contact information, you can put the latitude and longitude of the sources. If you want to go for pickup location, and there if you are going for a distance algorithm, then you have to update the proper information for that sources. This information is mandatory when you choose the pickup location. Okay, and this front name can be shown to your customer when he places the order through in-store pickup method. Then we'll see how to add a stock. So for manage stock, you need to navigate to stores, inventory, stocks. So as I told you, stocks is nothing but the aggregation or the combination summation of all the sources which you have. You can see two different stocks I have. Default stock is by default present when you do the Magento installation. You cannot delete this stock. If you want to go for MSI, you have to create a custom stock, because you cannot assign the custom sources to this default stock. So you have to go for custom stock. This is the main table inventory stock, which has a stock ID and name, which stores the primary information of the stock. As you can see, my sales channel, this is website, is assigned to USA stock, and by default it is assigned to this default stock when we do the installation. But if we assign this sales channel to USA stock, so it unassigned from the default stock and assign back to the USA stock. And this is the list of sources which I have assigned to this stock. This is in priority order. So if you go and edit the stocks, you can see this window. So this is a name. Then we have a sales channel, then sources. From this assign sources button, you can assign the multiple sources to the stock. The relation between stock and sources is present in inventory source stock link table, which has, this is the primary ID, this is foreign key of stock ID, source, and priority. Priority basically used when you go for a shipment. We'll see where this priority play a vital role while selecting the sources for the shipment. Then we have a sales channel. You can assign a stock to multiple sales channel. Currently, this is a default Magento setup, so we only have the main website. So this relation between sales channel and stock goes in inventory stocks sales channel, which has a type currently supports to website only, and code is website code. So in our case, it would be base, and this is the foreign key for your stock ID. This is the catalog product grid for MSI. If I have already configured these many sources, so you can see for this product I have 3 to 4 sources along with my default source, and aggregation of this all is considered as stock, which is 85. Why it is showing 85, I'll tell you. So it is taking the combination of all the sources except the default one. So 30 plus 40 plus 15, that is your sellable quantity. Okay, so this sellable quantity uses 3 parameter actually. First one, it takes the combination of all these 3 minus the threshold out of stock quantity, and also the reservation made for this particular product. So we'll see in detail what are those exact things. So this sellable quantity Magento takes from this file. If you go and check this, see and get this sellable quantity. So this sellable quantity is actually considered when a customer proceed to checkout. And this inventory stock underscore stock ID. So this table when created, this is the indexed table. For default, the ID of Magento, like the ID is already 1. So if I create a new stock, then my table name would be inventory stock underscore whatever the stock ID. So in my case, it is 2, and the SKU on quantity. So this is the aggregate quantity from the sources is maintained in this table. Next, if we edit that product, then we can see in assign sources section, you have these 2 buttons. First one is assign sources, where you can actually assign the sources to that particular product and also update the quantity according to it. This notify quantity is nothing but whenever stock reaches to particular that quantity level, admin sends a notification to the merchant so that they can refill their stock. This item and like product and the sources relation is stored in this table, inventory source item. The foreign keys of course, this is a source code. Then SKU quantity and status would be in stock or out of stock 0 or 1. Okay. Now if you go to advanced inventory, we have one setting that is provided by Magento, and this is used for out of stock threshold value. Next, we see how we can set up the pickup location through admin. So there are some prerequisite for pickup delivery method. So those are these ones. Make sure you have a default stock. So stock and sources means non-default stock and sources, because you cannot opt pickup in-store pickup for the default sources. Then you have configured a distance priority algorithm. So we'll see like how to configure this distance priority algorithm in detail. Even you can go through or follow this link to configure the distance priority algorithm. You need to put proper full street address if you offer in stock, in store pickup for that particular sources. So you need to provide properly latitude and longitude for that particular sources. Then these are the settings which admin can do, like enabled or disable the in-store pickup delivery. Method name, title he can update. Price is actually if you want to apply any price for the customer while in-store pickup, we can update that one. Search radius is nothing but the area from where that stores or sources can be picked up for the checkout process. So earlier when we see, we had this configuration, cells and shipping methods. Now this has been renamed to delivery methods, because in-store pickup is not your shipping method, right? And this feature is only present in 2.4. Okay. Next we'll see the order workflow, means how the customer process the order. So this is the first main mechanism which is used in MSI for order workflow. So instead of immediately deducting or adding product inventory quantities, reservation holds the inventory, updates until the order shipment or the product refunds. So because of this, your concurrent checkout gets protected. So reservation works entirely in the backend to automatically update the inventory totals. and reservation are the append only operations. Hence, the amount of quantity is deducted from the sellable quantity without affecting the actual product quantity. Okay. Yep. So if you see, this is the initial condition. Let's say I have 3 sources. There's 3 physical location where I have 30, 40, 15 as a quantity for SKU1, and my aggregate quantity would be the combination of this all these 3 sources. I have not added any out of stock threshold value, and this is like selling this product default website. So this is how the data looks in Magento. This is all three sources. Then this is the aggregate value from where the stock is stock is updating or showing the quantity to directly to website. This is my actual sellable quantity. Until now, no reservation is made. Okay. Now for second step, let's say customer comes to website and he wants to buy product of that SKU1 of amount 20. So what Magento do? It checks whether that customer is eligible for checkout or not. So what he does, like he calculates those sellable quantity using this formula. This slides which I have shown you in that class, right? So what that class does, it gets the quantity from your stock item index table. So that is nothing but your inventory underscore stock ID, where maintains the aggregate of your all sources against the particular SKU. So this is the aggregate value plus all reservation created for that given SKU for that stock ID. Currently it is 0. We haven't done any reservation, minus the out of stocks threshold. So we do not have yet we do not have the out of stocks threshold set. Assume that. So actual sellable quantity is 85 and customer can buy 20, so he can proceed to checkout. So let's say he placed the order. So what will happen? Here you can see one reservation entry has been added in inventory underscore reservation table, that is minus 20. So at this point, my actual stock table data is not get yet changed. Even my source data is not get updated. But my sellable quantity got updated in that grid, and that is provided from that Magento class. So this you can see my data from index is 85. Apply our reservation. So 85 plus minus of 20, which is nothing but 65. So my total sellable quantity is 65, but my stock is not yet updated. Next, if before processing to that order, next customer comes in and he tries to add the quantity for same SKU of 40. Now what will happen? Magento calculates the same, like whether that customer is eligible for the checkout or not by using that formula. So he'll check the actual stock index quantity from that table, from inventory underscore stock underscore your stock ID table, plus all the reservation made for that SKU1. And of course it is greater than your requested quantity. So yes, he can eligible for the checkout. Now the admin process the order, the previous customer's order. So before processing the order, if customer calls the admin and ask him to cancel his 3 quantity, request for cancellation of 3 quantity, he don't want that. So what admin can do, he can create an invoice and generate a credit memo for it, or he can do the partial cancellation by using some third-party module. So let's say if admin cancels 3 quantity out of 20 quantity, okay, and the data like in Magento, it seems like the reservation has been made as he admin cancels the order. Let's say 3 quantity cancels, and still the data from stock and sources is not get updated. Okay, so this is my actual 85 stock from my stock table. After applying all reservation, minus 30 plus 3, 17. So 85 minus 17 would be 68. So 68 is my now currently sellable quantity. Okay. Now customer admin ships those remaining 17 quantity to the customer. Then once the shipment has been created, the cron has run and updates the data. Sorry. So updates the data. So at this moment, your sellable quantity, which was 68, it is updated on your inventory stock underscore stock ID table. and also gets updated against that source. Now, why only this source got like deducted? Because this is actually based on shipment, how admin creates the shipment, which source he select for his shipment. Okay, so assume that he select the NYC source for his shipment. So total quantity 17 has been detected. So 13 minus 17 is comes around 13. And one more reservation has been made for the shipment. So the first reservation is called as initial reservation, which always goes in negative number, and the rest reservation are called as the compensation reservation, which will hold the positive value. Okay, so now the data has been changed, reservation has been added. Now when this reservation got cleared, okay, yeah, so reservation cleaning happened through this cron, inventory cleanup reservation cron, which actually runs around 12 o'clock midnight every day, and it removes all the entry from the reservation table for that particular stock ID and SKU by using query. And this is the main table inventory reservation where we had all the reservation added for that particular order. Okay, this is for order placed, order cancelled, and order shipment. So this sums comes as a 0, then only that reservation gets cleared from this table. Next step, this is similar to first step. Reservation has been removed and our sellable quantity also updated, and this also updated. Yep. Now we'll see how the order fulfillment happens from the Magento end. So yeah, for order fulfillment, the source selection algorithm is introduced for MSI. So there are two out-of-box source selection available. One is source priority and another one is distance priority. When admin clicks on ship, he can go to the screen and see these are two algorithm he can select. So we'll see how to configure the source priority algorithm first. Okay, so as you might remember that when we are adding these stocks, we are assigning sources to that stock. I told you that we can assign multiple sources to that stock and we can change the priority by using drag and drop, right? So if you see this from this screen, my UK warehouse is currently holding the highest priority amongst all warehouses. So whenever admin select that source priority as your shipment algorithm, that time what Magento does, works through all the configured orders and shown the list of that particular sources according to the priority. Also, it shows the number of quantity which he can ship from that sources, and it also skips the disabled sources if found in that list. Next, we'll see how to configure the distance selection algorithm, distance parity algorithm. Yep. So for that, you need to navigate to stores, setting, configuration, catalog inventory. You will find the setting, distance provider for distance based as source selection algorithm. Here you can select either Google Map or offline calculation. So for the Google Map setting, you need to provide a Google API key, which you can get from the Google Maps platform. There are some settings you need to do. You have to enable two different libraries for that. I have already provided that link where you can go through and configure this Google Map as your distance based SSA. And if you want to go for offline calculation, in that case you need to import and download all these geo codes in your system. So we can achieve that by using this CLI command, which is provided by MSI module. So here you can see bin/Magento inventory geonames import country codes. So you can give as many as country codes you want, separated by a space. Okay. Now the actual shipment creation. So yeah, so if admin already selected the source selection priority or the distance priority, according to that, this sources get listed down here. And for creation of shipment, he needs to select this from this drop down. and here he can see the quantity to deduct. Okay, let's say if he creates the multiple shipment, then how it looks, this one. Okay, the multiple shipment, he can create partial shipment, he can create if you want. And if you view that shipment, we can see from which source it's been shipped. Okay, next we'll see what are the console commands provided by the MSI module. So we'll talk about like first command, inventory reservation list inconsistency. So in reservation inconsistency may occur when inventory management loses the initial reservation and enters too many reservation compensation. Okay, so as I have shown you, right, that is how that reservation got updated in inventory underscore reservation table. So if any inconsistency happen, if the sum is not coming 0, then only this inconsistency happen. So you can run this CLI command in your console panel and check what are the inconsistencies are there. There are some other option also provided. You can opt like you can provide the option where you can select the incomplete orders, complete orders, and even raw orders, where you can see all the inconsistency. So because of that, you cannot clear the inventory underscore reservation table. So we have to remove that data, right? So for that, you need to create a compensation for it. Means, for example, if my table has for one order -2 and 1, so I need one more value to compensate or to get the sum of 0, right? For that I need to add compensation. So MSI has provided this second command, inventory reservation create compensation, for that particular order. So once you run this, you can add, you like one row is added by the Magento as a compensation against that inventory reservation table. And once the cron will run, now the sum is coming as 0 and it will remove the data. So that's how these two commands can be used. So yep. And then we have this third, which we already discussed. This is used for importing all the geocodes to your system. This, after importing, we get the message as okay done, and this sorry, geocode information is stored under the inventory geo name table. Okay. These are some REST API and GraphQL which is provided by Magento. So this is nothing but the operation we can perform using the REST API. You can go through this DevDOS link, Swagger link, where you can find these APIs. Okay. So manage sources, stock, we can link the stocks and sources. Even we can manage the source item, perform bulk operation, so on. Next, the GraphQL, which is provided by MSI. This two request parameter is added in product interface, in interface API actually. Only X left in stock and stock status. Okay. Now import functionality is also provided. Let's say you have big catalog and you have to update the source quantity for that particular SKU. You can use the Magento import export functionality. These are the fields you can use for you will get when you have to update in your CSV sheet source code, SKUs, status, and quantity. These are some limitation MSI in MSI. First one, it's only limited to website, so it's not built for multi-source. It doesn't allow the different sources per product source view, and in-store delivery method and bundle product support, which is introduced in Magento 2.4, which are not present in earlier version. Also, the asynchronous stock re-indexing not supported in Magento earlier version. You can go through the release note. I have attached like in a reference slide. These are some references. You can go through it and find more details about the MSI. Now we'll move to demo part. Yep. So this, just a minute. Okay. So I have installed Magento 2.4 fresh installation with sample data. First, I'll show how to manage sources. So you have to go navigate to stores, then inventory
Shilpa,
sources.
I can't see the storefront if you are trying to show that. I think you might need to reshare your screen.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Admin panel, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Uh, I can see, I can hear some background noise. Can you please put mic off? Okay. So these are the sources which I have already configured. The default one I told you that this comes when you do the Magento installation. This I have added as my custom sources. If I go here, so here I can change the name, make this source available for store pickup. I need to provide the phone number if I opt for the pickup location. And obviously I need to update the proper street address. And this is the front name which will be shown to customer while performing the checkout process. This is the default source. Here you can only update the name and description, of course, latitude, longitude, but you cannot disable it. And also you cannot use this for the in-store pickup delivery. Okay, now we'll jump back to the stocks. This is by default present. Here we cannot assign the custom sources, but yes, for custom stock you can. If you unassigned it, it will by defaultly assign to your default stock. This I can change the priority using drag and drop list. I can assign this using assign sources button. I cannot choose the default stock. If I'll do, Magento will throw an error. Okay. Now we'll see, once I updated those custom sources and stock, how my product grid looks like. So let's consider this one. There are some actions are provided by MSI module where you can assign the inventory to like multiple products at a time. You can unassign the inventory from that sources. Either you can transfer the inventory from one source to another source. So this also can perform. If you see, USS stock is a combination of these two stocks, which is 50 plus 50 is 100, but my out of stock threshold is I have added as 10. So minus 10 as 90 is my sellable quantity, actual sellable quantity for this product. So if I edit it in source section, you can see this in stock, different quantities, notify quantities. I can assign the sources using this button. Currently, I have already assigned those sources, so we do not find any new sources for this product. Then I can update the out of stock threshold for this particular product. Okay, so that's why the sellable quantity is coming as 90 instead of 100. Okay, now we'll see where that in-store pickup delivery method is configured. So you want to, you have to go to stores, configuration, then sales. Yeah, here they have renamed as delivery methods instead of shipping method. You have to enable it. In-store pickup deliver, in-store delivery method by default present in 2.4. You can enable it. You can provide any name and title. This is a price will be applicable to customer whenever he checks through, check out through this method. This is the radius I told you. Under this area only, you'll find Magento will find out the pickup location, and he will give that list to customer. He'll provide that list. This is the display error message. Now we'll see the actual, the actual checkout process for a customer when he opts for in-store pickup. Okay, so I'm considering this choice duffel bag, and Atish, can you see now the desktop, or what screen you can see?
I can still see the grid.
Okay, wait. So I need to reshare. Okay, now we can see, right? So that product
Yes.
SQ. So in stock, this inventory stock underscore stock ID giving me the aggregate of those sources value, that is 100, but our actual sellable quantity is 90, correct? Because it adds, it minus your out of stock threshold value as well. So now we'll go to front end and we'll add that product only. Even I do not have any data in my reservation table yet. Okay, for installation of 2.4, Elasticsearch is must. So without that, this one, this will not get installed in your machine. Okay, so as you can see, 90 is my sellable quantity. So let's see if I am able to add the 91 in my cart. So Magento will throw an error that you cannot add this much quantity. Now we'll go to checkout by using single quantity for this product. Okay, you can see this is another tab which is added in Magento, pick in store. Now I need to select the store. Here, now I can see the list of store according to my priority of the sources. But if you want to go and find against any pin code, I can do that. Okay, but for this you need to update the proper latitude and longitude for that sources. If I choose this one and places the order. So when customers select the in-store pickup, that time it actually asks for this billing data, so that that customer will get identified whenever he'll go to that store and gets its order. Here you can see this $10 charges has been updated as my shipping charges, you can say handling charges, okay, for that particular, for this method. Now I'll go and place the order. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is nothing but my billing address. Now I'm placing the order. Okay, my order has been placed, and according to MSI, the reservation is made against that order. So you can see here for this SKU, for this stock ID, first initial reservation is always in negative, that is -1. My event type is order placed, and so this is actually a bug. MSI team is already working on it. Object ID is your order entity ID, and this is your order increment ID. Okay. And if I go and check whether my stock data has been updated or yet or not, so no, because shipment is not yet created. Okay. And if I'll go to admin and refresh this page, so my sellable quantity gets updated, but not the actual source quantity. So if you see here, we already have 50-50, but here earlier it was 90, but now it's 89. Okay. Because it sums combination of all these sources minus your out of stocks threshold plus all reservation made against that inventory reservation table. Okay, now we'll fulfill this order. So either you can ship it or invoice it, anything. So let's say I'll create, so till now no shipment is created, I'll create a shipment for it. So this is the like ship link has been replaced by this notify order is ready for pickup. So what will it does, it not only make the create a shipment, but also notify the customer. Okay, so customer has been notified as well as the shipment is created. So if you'll see here, my shipment is created. Okay, this is the order history now. Once the shipment has been created, the stock is updated. Okay, can you see this? Earlier it was 100, now it's 99. Also, one entries for shipment is goes in this table, that is shipment created for this particular order ID and order increment ID with plus sign. And if I go and check that product inventory against each sources, so earlier it is 50-50. I have choose NYC source as my pickup store. So yeah, it's updated in this source as well. Correct. Now we'll see the normal fulfillment order, where I will show you how we can set the source selection criteria for your shipment. So we'll again go with the same product because we already knew that it is having 50 and 49 quantity. Okay, before that, if I want to clear this, so as I told you, one cron will runs every night at 12 o'clock and it clears. So now we'll run that cron manually and checks whether that reservation get cleared or not. So this is the cron name, inventory cleanup reservation. Okay, and once I refresh, the inventory reservation table got empty. Okay, I'll go and add, make it two, so that we can see partial, how to create partial shipment as well. Proceed to checkout. I'll go for normal checkout. Okay, so reservation is updated with -2 for this SKU. My stock is yet to update. It will be a 99 only. The shipment is not yet created. Then if I go and check here, my sellable quantity automatically got updated. Earlier it was 89, so it will be 87 because I have ordered 2 quantity. This one, can you see this? Yep. Just okay. Now before fulfilling that address, we'll see how we can configure that SSA for distance priority. So you need to go to the configuration, then catalog, inventory section. Here you see you can select either Google Map or offline. I have already imported the codes for US country, so I'll go with offline calculation. And if you see the priority list of the sources against the stock which I'm currently using for my website. So this is first is Florida and second is NYC. Okay. But I have selected my shipping address as New York. So we'll see. Okay. Shipping this order. Okay, here. So by default, it sorts according to the source selection priority. I have multiple options. If I choose distance priority, automatically my list got updated according to my shipping address, right? So if I select distance priority, I need to select the sources, and automatically Magento provide which how many quantity you want to deduct for that or create a shipment for that particular quantity. Then I'll proceed to checkout. Now on this page, if I don't want to ship all this 2 quantity altogether, so I can make a partial shipment by changing the quantity in this page as well. Okay, so you can see one shipment has been created and my reservation table also gets updated with +1. Shipment is created, so obviously stock will get updated 98 because I have only shipped 1 quantity. And if you go and check here, so earlier it was 50 and 49 for this respective sources, so it comes as 49 because only 1 quantity has been updated. Now if you see in this table, so -2 + 1, which is not coming as sum as 0. So if I try to run that cron, it will not clear my inventory reservation table. Okay, for that I need to create another shipment yep, and once the all quantity sums value comes 0, then only this table got updated. Yep. So that's it from my end. Anybody has any question?
Yeah, I think there were certain questions that were posted on the chat.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
Shilpa, can you make me the host again so that I can start sharing the screen?
Oh yeah, just a minute.
So in the participant list, you should see my name and then make host.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so one of the questions that were asked was by Prashant, I think, any information on inventory replenishment, inventory lags or lead time, order cost or inventory cost, etc.
Okay. Lag time, that is, I don't know about that much, but yeah, you can check the inconsistency of that inventory using that command. If you are upgrading from like from one environment to another environment, but shipping cost involvement we cannot calculate through MSI. So that is currently not present.
Okay. So the other question was, I have this is from Ankit, and I have not used the MSI in any of my project yet, but I see people are complaining about MSI, mentioning MSI slows down the site. What are your comments on this? And how it will work when Magento inventory is managed by an outside system like SAP or WH APIs?
Yeah, so I do agree at some extent that MSI makes impact on performance. So either you can go and disable the reservation mechanism which is used in Magento, like which is provided like one of the module. I can share that link in reference. You can go through it. Yep. You can go to next question, Atish.
Okay, next question is can we see the history for reservation later if we need to debug the issue in quantities? As I can see, Magento clears the table after running the cron.
Yes, you can check by using that list inconsistency CLI command, where you can add the uh, like processed order, incomplete orders, and you can check what are all reservation made against that order.
Okay. And I think Laz has also answered quite a few questions where he has mentioned that Vadim created around 20% of the MSI hard on performance and design. Okay, so this actually helps with the performance improvement maybe. Okay, and also Laz have shared a YouTube video of one of his, I think, colleagues giving the presentation on the technical approach for MSI. So if anybody has any questions around the design or the technical part, please make sure that you watch the videos and hopefully it will answer most of your questions.
Yep. Anything else, Satish?
I don't see any other questions mentioned. Okay, I think that should be it. So let me just share my screen back.
Thank you all for your patience.
Thank you so much, Shilpa, for your time. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully everybody can see. So, yeah. So thank you all. Thank you. Special thanks to our speakers, Shilpa and Lars, for giving us the awesome presentations that they have provided and giving us the time on a weekend as well. So thank you, Lars, for your great presentation on PWA. Hopefully a lot of us actually got an idea of how the design workflow or the development workflow works when you're working on a PWA extension rather than on a Magento extension. So that was very informative, as well as the YouTube video is also mentioned in the slides as well. So please make sure to check that out. It's much more detailed in the recording because we were not able to cover everything in the presentation today. And also Shilpa, thank you so much for your detailed presentation on MSI and the detailed walkthrough for the features as well as the technical aspects was very useful, and hopefully a lot of us got a chance to understand how the new inventory works in Magento. So thank you all for attending and hope everybody has a nice weekend.